So there's three types of errors that are commonly experienced in operations, whether that's in a business or frankly in any context, or in people's training or learning of a new skill. But we're going to look particularly at following processes in a business, since that's what we focus on in general, what we specialise in. So I'm going to apply it to that. So you've got systematic error, random error, and sporadic error. So systematic error, that's the easiest to identify and the easiest to deal with. So that's where you've got, let's say this is a target, and to depict this, you've got errors occurring in the same place, but off-centered. So you're missing the bullseye, but it's consistent. So at least consistency is there. That's what it means by systematic error. It's systematically wrong. But you've got consistency. So what's most likely there is you do have a process and it is being followed, which is great. People are obviously doing the same thing consistently, whether that's an individual or a team. However, the process itself has some flaw in it. So this is the easiest one. If you want to get these crosses, you're back into the bullseye, you want to correct whatever process is there. Now, next one here is we've got random error. So the issue here is you've just got, things occurring all over the place. So sometimes they're better than others, sometimes they're quite serious, but there's not a lot of pattern or consistency to it. So that can be harder to identify, but what you've got there is a lack of process occurring. So over here, or not following process. So over here, with systematic error, there's a process being followed, but the process itself is flawed. In this case, you either don't have a process, or people are not following the process because they're all over the show, like this. So in this case, it's down to one of two things. Firstly, identify if you have a process. Surely you'd know that anyway. And if you do, and this is still occurring, so one, process, and two, if it's not the process itself at fault, is people. Are they following the process? Alright, now finally what we have here is sporadic error. Now this one is the hardest to identify. Well, it's easy to identify. It's one of the hardest to deal with. So this is where you've got, in most cases things are going fine, but every now and then you have one that just has an error of some sort. It's sort of like occasionally you've got a random error that goes off, but in most cases you're doing fine. So what you can look for there is there any external factors that are impacting people and their processes? Maybe there's some sort of external to the company form of variation occurring. Sometimes if you're dealing with paperwork on certain things, the aircraft might have arrived late with the goods. The ship might have shown up late. So that's throwing things off. If it's something like that, you want to put in some sort of buffer to basically protect your people. Give them a bit of a time gap so they're not doing things at the last minute, so they've got time to account for these random errors. So what you want to look for there is any source outside the norm of what's throwing things off, and can you put some sort of safety net in there to protect your people, your teams from it? Or can you put some sort of exception management system in place so that you get a report, you get an alert of some sort if things aren't happening, so that you or the manager or team leader or whoever it is can react to it when the sporadic error occurs. So there you go, you've got your three types of errors: systematic, fix the process, at least people are following it; random error, do you have a process? And if you do have a process, get people to follow it; and sporadic error, that's where you want to look at managing any interaction between your business and the outside world, or looking for exception management so that you can react to those things.